I'll stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3 is the roll call. Gabriel, could you call the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner Kaczynski?
Here.
Commissioner Crandall?
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Wu?
Here.
Vice Chair Blackwell?
Here.
And Chair Rowland?
Here. Item 4 is our special orders of business. We have none. Item 5 is our minutes, and we have 3 sets of minutes to approve. The first is the minutes of the regular Planning Commission meeting of September 16th, 2020, continued from the October 7th meeting. Are there any changes or a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the City of St. Clement Planning Commission, September 16, 2020.
Motion by Wu. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who said second?
Oh,
Chris?
yeah.
Okay, motion by Wu, second by Kaczynski. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Kaczynski?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Crandall?
Aye.
Commissioner Wu?
Aye.
Commissioner Blackwell?
Aye.
And Rulin is aye. It passes unanimously. The second minutes is from the regular Planning Commission meeting of October 7th, 2020. Is there a motion or changes?
Move to approve.
Motion by Brown,
Second.
second by Blackwell. Call the roll. Commissioner Kaczynski?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Crandall?
Aye.
Commissioner Wu?
Aye.
Commissioner Blackwell?
Aye.
And Rulin votes aye, passes unanimously. Item C are the minutes from the regular study session of November 4th. Do you have a motion or changes?
I move we approve.
Motion by Brown,
Second.
second by Crandall. Call the roll. Commissioner Kaczynski?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Crandall?
Aye.
Commissioner Wu?
Abstain.
Abstain. Commissioner Blackwell?
Aye.
And Commissioner Rulin is yes. We have 5 yeses, no nos, and 1 abstention. All right, that completes the minutes. Item 6, oral and written communications. Members of the public may address the commission on matters of public interest which pertain to the city and are not otherwise on the agenda. Speakers can submit their comments on agenda items to the Planning Commission electronically. Material may be emailed to www.san-clemente.org/PC public comment. Transmittal by 3 p.m. on Planning Commission meeting days is recommended. The Planning Commission is not permitted to discuss or take action on items that do not appear on the agenda. Gabriel, do we have any public comments to read?
Chairman, there are no comments we've received today at this time.
Okay, thank you. Item 7 is consent calendar. We have nothing on our consent calendar. Item 8 is our public hearings, and 8A is 93 Via Pico Plaza, conditional use permit 20-206. Katie, do you want to take us through that?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Rowland and members of the Planning Commission. So in your packet was a report for this conditional use permit for a fitness facility. As you know, yesterday you were forwarded a staff report errata requesting that the item be continued. The request came from the applicant as well as the property manager so that they have additional time to work out details of their lease. I think some of those arose with some of the challenges due to COVID. So that would be staff's recommendation at this time. They asked that it be continued to the January 6th meeting. I know there was some discussion about whether we were having that. So if January 6th is not happening, we could move it also to January 20th. And that's all. If you have any questions, I'm available.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Gabriel, I did notice something about possible cancellation of the January 6th meeting. Maybe if we might, I know we're going to discuss that a little later. Well, perhaps we could bring that earlier in the agenda to discuss now. And so if we cancel the January 6th meeting, we can then continue this item to the January 20th meeting. So let me first, since this is a public hearing item, I'm going to ask if there's any public comment, Gabriel, on this item that we should be reading into the record.
Yeah, check for any comments, and we haven't received any this time.
I
Very
have
good.
none.
So then if there's no objections, before we close this item, let me hit pause on this and bring up item 11F, discussion of the cancellation of the January 6, 2021 Planning Commission meeting, just so we can have some clarity on when we're continuing it for the applicant. Gabriel, did you want to discuss that?
Sure. Originally I had inquired about to the Planning Commission if there were, commissioners, if you were going to be around for the January 6th meeting, because there could be travel plans, and we were contemplating having a specific item that related to a general plan amendment that relates to a public works project, but that is no longer going to be scheduled for January. And so that does leave the opportunity for this item to be considered. And as of right now in the TFA, this would be the only item on the agenda. So we could do it. For us, in terms of staff, it should be relatively easy because the staff report is pretty much complete, unless there's other comments from the Planning Commission.
Is there a preference from staff? I know maybe having 2 meetings with the same number of items might not be as preferable as having 1 meeting with both of those items on it. What is staff's feelings on it? Anything?
It works fine. The way that our schedule works with staff in January, let's see, I think we're back in the office that week on the 4th. So it's no problem. I think Katie is around as well. So it doesn't really pose a challenge unless it's a challenge for getting a quorum of the Planning Commission.
Okay. So let me ask the Planning Commission, it sounds like if we didn't continue this item, staff is saying that we would probably cancel our January 6th meeting. Is there a desire to cancel our January 6th meeting and which would mean continuing the item to January 20th? Or did you want to have a January 6th meeting where we probably only have this item on it? Is there a preference?
Well, Jim, I have this mic. I have no preference. I'm just more concerned, for the applicant and, the streamlining of their application. But if the applicant is on board and has requested the continuance, I see no point in, unless there's any penalty to anybody waiting that long, I'd say go ahead and continue it. I'd prefer to, have more to talk about at a single meeting. I just asked Gabriel, is the public works item that may be pushed to the 20th, is it a big one?
I'm sorry, Gabriel, you're on mute.
It is on the TFA right now for January 20th, and it is a general plan amendment. So planning isn't preparing the staff report, so I'm not sure how lengthy the item could be when presented to the Planning Commission. The other item that we have planned for that meeting is the strategic implementation plan. I know that could involve a lot of discussion by the Planning Commission. I think it has in the past. So those are some considerations. I think based on those 2 items, it definitely would be a meeting that extends past an hour.
Well, if we did thanks, Gabriel. If we did the if we reviewed the current project first, is there anything that's time sensitive, if the clock should run out, if you will, if we get into the wee hours, if it was to just bump to the next meeting, would there be any penalty in doing that? Or any detriment to us by waiting till the next meeting to talk about one of the other items?
Are you saying if for the applicant to move their item to January 20th, if that's an issue for them?
No, so if we move this item to the 20th, which is it's a long way away, and we've got two other items to talk about. If this was first on the agenda, so the EOS fitness was first on the agenda, and we got into the second item, and it started to be a long discussion, and it became a late evening, would there be any detriment to the city in bumping the third item to the next meeting? Is there anything time sensitive about the latter two items?
Yeah, I think the public hearing item for the general plan amendment, I think that's time sensitive. And then the SIP is somewhat time sensitive, and that possibly could be bumped, but I don't know until I talk to Chris Wright, who's going to be presenting that item. So,
all right,
so that's the unknown right now.
Okay. Well, Jim, that would be my only concern about waiting that long for this one. But other than that, I'm fine with it.
Gabriel, this is Zhang. The general plan amendment item about Las Pachuenas extension.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a quite important issue, and I can expect a lot of public comments on that. So it's going to take a while. And my preference is that if we don't have a strong reason, we don't continue to delay the project. So I'm available on January 6th.
For me, I'm available. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bart.
I'll ditto Jen on that. I would assume that they requested Katie to postpone this till the next scheduled meeting. And that's January 6th. I'm available. I don't see any reason for stretching it out. I like the idea of not having staff prepare for a meeting and then have to get continued to a future meeting if that might happen on the 20th. So I'm good on the 6th, and we'll move along as previously scheduled.
For Don Brown here, I actually have a membership at Fitness 19, which is part of the project that Katie's trying to present tonight. So I'll probably have to recuse. I'm assuming Mal would recommend that. I just go in there and lift weights, but that's probably enough of a conflict. So I'm kind of neutral on where when you meet.
All right. Well, let's reactivate item 8A then and make a decision on when we would like to continue this to. So does someone have a motion?
Hey, Jim, before we make a motion, I just want to say one last thing. We don't have landlord authorization, and I realize that staff has been working with the applicant and put together a staff report, and it appears that at the 11th hour, there's been a withdrawal of interest from the landlord, which, under normal circumstances, if we don't have that, the project is not deemed complete and we would never even see it. So in my opinion, we should continue this to a date uncertain until we have that piece. I don't even see the point in this. Otherwise, we're kicking a can. This is a lease negotiation. It's not a land use issue. So, honestly, I think that would be my preference and probably the better way to go, because we're taking up space on a future agenda that another applicant could take that is not going to be delaying things for reasons outside of our purview. So I would say a date uncertain, just take it off the table completely and save that agenda space for somebody that is moving forward on all channels.
So Katie, I don't know anything about the details of that. Do you have any insight on that?
I don't have a lot of details on what they were actually negotiating, and so I can't really weigh in on how likely versus how unlikely it is that they'd be ready at that time. That is the meeting that they requested, and so that is the meeting that we put in our updated report here. But I could imagine that if you do vote to move it to that meeting and then that meeting is on the calendar, I could potentially see that meeting ending up not needing to happen. So I think Commissioner Blackwell has a valid point. And it can go either way. If we continue it to a date uncertain, staff just has to renotice it, which we can do.
Let them work out their issues and come back when they're ready, if they're ever ready. Because we have other folks and other projects that are moving forward. And, you know, as much as we would love to see this happen, it sounds like there's an impasse. And again, it's outside of our purview. So I say let the applicant work out their issues with their lessor and then come back when they're ready.
Well, any of those options are fine with me. I think we've talked about the assignment of this, the scheduling of this enough. So does anyone have a motion?
I move we schedule this to a date certain.
Date certain or date uncertain?
Date uncertain.
I second that.
Okay. The motion is to continue this to a date uncertain by Brown, second by Blackwell. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Kozinski.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye.
Commissioner Crandall.
No, based on the fact that they requested the 6th, and I think we owe them the opportunity rather than making assumptions to give it to them the 6th.
Okay. Commissioner Wu.
Aye.
Commissioner Blackwell.
Aye.
And Rulin is aye. We are 5 in favor, 1 opposed. So the motion carries and the item is continued to a date uncertain. That's it for our public hearings. Item 9, new business, we have none. Item 10, old business, we have none. And we're up to reports of commissioners and staff. So are there any, by the way, thank you, Katie, appreciate it. So are there any reports of commissioners or staff?
Chairman Rulin, this is Gabriel Perez, City Planner. The thing I want to report back to the Planning Commission, most of you know this already, that the State Historical Resources Commission, they had a meeting on November 6th to consider the North Beach Historic District nomination. And so that would move on to basically a recommendation to be listed on the National Register of Historic Places. And so there were 11 other nominations that were considered during that meeting. I've never participated in a meeting like that, but it was good to kind of see other districts and resources that were being considered. Just to give you an idea of timeline, in terms of being listed, the timeline for that would be around the time of January 2021, where there would be a decision at the federal level to list it on the register. So we'll continue to update the Planning Commission on that. What staff is anticipating to do is provide an update after it is listed to the council with some recommendations on how to attract people to the site and let people know that it is a district. And so we'll want to get some ideas from the Planning Commission as well. So we'll probably bring something back to the Planning Commission as an update.
Probably very informative about, you know, listen to other cities and their complex proposals, because, you know, the Historic Society is immediately going to start pushing for the downtown areas of the historic district. So, you know, I hope you got some good notes out of that meeting and what the other cities had to go through to get the state approval.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, that's my update. I also just want to let you know the next study session will be the joint study session with City Council. So there will be a few new members on the City Council, and so we're going to have Jamboree Housing, the nonprofit housing developer, there as part of the meeting that was requested at the last joint study session, as well as OC Habitat, if you ever heard of Habitat for Humanity. So those two organizations will be there because there was interest in having the actual affordable housing developers talk about their interest in something like our inclusionary housing program. So Jennifer will help present that, and we'll also present some information on the history of affordable housing in the city. We have a long history of providing that in the city. And it's a pretty lengthy history going back to I think 1980. So we'll have that report to the Plan Commission and Council. And so that's going to be on December 16th. And we are starting at 5:30, just considering there might be a lot of discussion. That's
Okay.
the end of my report.
Good, thank you. Does anyone have anything else to report? All right. If there's nothing else, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment. I'll go ahead and move that we adjourn to the next, adjourn to the next adjourned regular meeting of the study session and planning commission that will be held on December 16th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. via teleconference.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded it? Was that? Sorry, Kozinski. Motion by Rulin, second by Kozinski. I'll take the roll. Commissioner Kozinski,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Crandall,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Commissioner Blackwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Rulin also votes aye, passes 6-0. So we will see you on December 16th, everybody.
All right.
22
Thanks,
minutes.
everyone. Good night.
So long.